A lot has been said about me online, whether it be from former players, whether it be from journalists, whether it be from online trolls. It's safe to say Denis Karo has his fair share of haters. And one of those haters, a journalist, Henry Carson. This guy has been in the news, talking all kinds of nonsense about me, putting smut on my name, saying all kinds of negative things about my game. And I'll tell you what, I've had enough of it. And his latest piece about how Man City is gonna absolutely shut me down this weekend was the final nail in the coffin for this bum of a journalist. And as we head into match week 17 of the Premier League title race, we face off against Man City, our rivals at the top of the table. We have a chance to win this match and leapfrog them at the top. And Haaland on the ball, passing it to Konate. Tomlinson, passing it to Haaland. Erling Haaland cutting in, passing it to Philip Walter Foden, who's unable to have a shot. Ederson, passing to Arnau. Karo on the ball, passing it to Saka. Bukayo Saka, dribbling. Bukayo Saka still on the ball, passing it to Denis Karo. Karo now, gonna have a right-footed shot with the outside of the foot. Denis Karo on the ball. Karo still on the ball, cutting in, trying to go towards goal, but is unable to. Zaire Emery to De Bruyne. And De Bruyne passing it to Savinho. And Savinho to De Bruyne. Haaland to Savinho. Savinho on the ball. Savinho passing to Haaland, who just smashes it, or should I say caresses it, into the top right corner. And City are up 1-0. And Rabiot finding Karo. Karo trying to make something happen now. Denis Karo on the ball, getting past Haaland with ease. Who else wants it? Karo just skipping past Rodri. Nice and easy, cool, calm, collected. Karo still on the ball. These City players can't touch him. And Karo unable to get the shot off. And David Raya, it's like we did a keeper swap. Karo passing the ball to Thomas Partey. Saka to Karo. Karo easily getting past Ruben Diaz. And Fabio Vieira trying to cross it in. Karo settling it with his chest. And Karo getting past Rodri. And Raya with a great save. Are now heading the ball as far as Vardio. And Saka passing it to Karo. Karo still on the ball now. Karo getting past the City defense and just easing it into the back of the net. And Denis Karo has brought Arsenal back into this match in the 85th minute. And there's still time to win this match. And Saka intercepting the ball. But Haaland now has a chance to win. And Haaland shooting wide. Saka cutting in, passing it to Karo. Karo now has Ruben Diaz to beat. Karo beats Ruben Diaz, just kidding. Ruben with a great stop. Vieira to Karo. Karo with a turn. Past defense, has a shot, but just wide it goes. And Arsenal are unable to get the victory, which means we have to settle for 1 point and a draw with Man City. And with that 1 point, we still see City at the top of the table with 47 points to our 45 points. Our record is 14 wins, 3 draws, and 0 losses. And now we head into match week 18, where we face off against Liverpool. And we have a tough trip to Anfield now. After a very difficult match against Man City, we simply cannot catch a break. And now Karo on the ball, passing it to Saka. Saka heading towards goal, looking dangerous. Just kidding. Cutting back, Partey on the ball. And now Karo gets brought down by McAllister, nice and early in the match. McAllister picks up a booking, but most importantly, I don't know if you noticed, but I've picked up an injury. I'm just hoping it's not too bad of a knock. It's hurting, I gotta admit that. My knee is hurting. And Karo's on the ball. But I'm unable to do any skills because my damn knee is killing me. And now Karo trying to cut in and get past the defense. And look at that terrible pass. but Watkins finds Karo. And Karo is unable to have a good shot. Kiwior and Partey working together now. Karo on the ball, cutting in. Locatelli with a great tackle. Watkins turning with the ball, passing it to Karo. Karo now threading it through to Bukayo Saka. Saka cutting in and passing it to Karo. Karo heading towards goal. And Denis Karo having a shot but is unable to score. But Watkins is there to smash the rebound into the back of the net and put Arsenal up 1-0. And the Gunners up 1-0 at Anfield. But as you know, Anfield is one of those stadiums you can never count out. And Karo's on the ball, getting brought down by Kvaratskhelia, who will see an early shower because of his actions. And get off the field, he just brought down Karo after he's already been injured. What the hell is wrong with you? And things are not looking good for this injury, I gotta tell you. I can barely run. My knee hurts, my ass hurts, everything. And Karo on the ball. Karo still on the ball. And Karo having a shot, but a weak shot. Lunin with an easy save. Marquinhos to Locatelli. Elliott back to Locatelli. Watkins with a beautiful interception. Karo passing the ball to Saka. Saka to Watkins. Watkins cutting back, passing it to Karo. Karo getting past the defense and just easing it into the goal. And Arsenal up 2-0 in the 70th minute at Anfield. And now Locatelli trying to make something happen. McAllister on the ball. He should be in prison for what he did to me. Fabio Vieira on the ball. Just seconds left in this match. Liverpool, of course, a man down. And with that, Arsenal pick up a 2-0 victory at Anfield against Liverpool. A very difficult match that results in us collecting the 3 points and actually leapfrogging Man City to the top of the Premier League after they have suffered a defeat, which means we are the only undefeated team left in the Premier League. And as we all know, if there's any team to go undefeated in the Premier League, it's Arsenal. But unfortunately for me, I've got the news that I'm injured. And now I gotta sit back while my team continues the season without me. And I'm out for 4 weeks, which means I'm going to be missing a lot of football. But luckily for us, we get a victory against Ipswich. And with that victory, it helps us remain in the top of the Premier League table while I'm gone. And Man City actually suffered another defeat. And match week 20 saw us host Manchester United in a very difficult match, which saw us winning 1-0 and keeping our lead at the top of the table with a total of 54 points to Man City's 50. And round 3 of the FA Cup saw Arsenal hosting Sheffield United. But unfortunately for the Gunners, we crashed out of the FA Cup nice and early. And match week 21 was a match against Nottingham Forest, which Arsenal smashed 5-0. And with that 5-0 victory, Arsenal saw their gap at the top of the table inflating up to 7 points. And match week 22, a match against Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium, saw Arsenal collect their first defeat of the season in a 1-0 loss to Liverpool, which allowed Man City to lower the gap down to 4 points. League match 7 of the Europa League, Arsenal went to Bologna, Italy, where they collected a 2-1 victory, which allowed them to maintain their spot at the top of the Europa League table. And before we knew it, we were ready to return into action. And what a match to return to as we faced off against Manchester City in match week 23 of the Premier League. And Karo making his first appearance since that career-threatening knee bruise. And Ederson collecting and throwing the ball to Denis Karo. And Karo, first touch on the ball since back from injury, taking a big touch, another big touch, and Karo is through on goal, and Denis Karo, magic, hits off the post, can you believe it? Romagnoli passing it to Taha, who finds Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne finding Erling Haaland, and now Savinho taking the ball down the touchline, cutting in, heading towards goal, passing it to Philip Walter Foden, who puts the ball into the back of the net and does a knee slide. And Man City once again taking the lead against Arsenal. And Arsenal have some work to do. Karo Not looking up to par since he got back from injury. We did hit the post, but now Karo's trying to work some magic. Passing it to Watkins, who threads it through, and Saka's on the other end of it, cutting back. Watkins finding Karo. Karo able to get the ball, turn, have a shot, and put it into the back of the net. Denis Karo scoring a goal immediately after Man City did. And that is how you bounce back from injury. Karo finding himself on the score sheet once again. Watkins to Karo. Karo finding Partey. A bit of skill from Savinho and a weak shot. Karo turning with the ball. Karo still on the ball. Denis Karo. Making work of Savinho. Toying with the man. And now Saka threading it through. Denis Karo through on goal. And Denis Karo heading towards goal. Having a shot and whoa, whoa, whoa. Here's Foden. Passing it to Rodri. Kabore. Turning. But Nuno able to take the ball off him. And the match has come to an end. Man City and Arsenal both settling for 1 point. In a very exciting draw, I gotta say. And with that point, we find ourselves remaining at the top of the table with 58 points. 4 points ahead of City. And as we return to the Europa League, we have the final match in the league phase of the Europa League, and we face off against Panathinaikos, Ionades, Tabakasetas, Maximovic, Yang Min-hyuk to Karo. Karo passing it back to Yang Min-hyuk. Yang Min-hyuk able to cut in and pass to Karo. And now Denis Karo heading towards goal, cutting in. Denis Karo still on the ball. Denis Karo having a shot. Wide it goes. Konate passing it to Karo. Karo bringing the ball back. Passing it to Yang Min-hyuk. Yang Min-hyuk passing to Karo. Karo faking the pass. Cutting back in, cutting out. Denis Karo still on the ball through the defense, having a shot right at the keeper. Rabiot getting done. And now Karo with an interception. Karo turning with the ball. Getting past two defenders. Yang Min-hyuk finding Karo. Karo now heading towards goal. Cutting in, having a shot. Getting blocked. Watkins passing it to Karo. Karo getting past the defense. Karo now having a shot and putting it into the back of the net. And Arsenal up 1-0 in this match. A great goal by Karo. Partey finding Karo. Karo turning with the ball. And now Denis Karo heading towards goal. Passing it to Saka. Saka unable to find Karo. Saka with the interception, finding Karo. Karo passing it to Watkins, who just puts it into the back of the net with ease. Cool, calm, collected finish by Watkins. And the Gunners up 2-0. Max on the ball. Getting pressured by Karo. Arnau hitting the ball to Saka, and Saka passing it to Karo. Karo now cutting in. He's got one on him, had one on him, getting past him, smashing it into the left side of the net. And that is all she wrote for this match. The Gunners up 3-0, and Karo and Saka walking like some absolute bosses. And that will be the end of this match, as the Gunners claim a 3-0 victory. 3 tremendous goals, 2 by Karo, 1 by Watkins. And with that victory, Arsenal end the league phase of the Europa League in first place, meaning we will not have to participate in any kind of playoff. We head straight to the round of 16, where we await our opponents. And heading into match week 24, Arsenal face off against Aston Villa. The team managed by former Arsenal manager Unai Emery. The guy's been an absolute thorn in our side. And Watkins passing it to Karo. Karo turning with the ball, having a shot just wide of the post it goes. Saka crossing it in. Karo unable to get his head on it. Yang Min-hyuk finding Karo. Karo with a shot off the post. Watkins missing the open net. And as the second half begins, not much action so far in this match. Saka finding Karo after intercepting it. Watkins passing it to Karo. Karo getting past the defense, having a shot and just easing it into the back of the net and giving Arsenal the 1-0 lead. And Karo just kicking that corner flag the same way he just kicked the ball into the back of the net. And Arsenal up 1-0 now. And Karo intercepting it, passing it to Saka. Ederson with a big kick. Saka heading it down. Zaire Emery launching it to Karo. Karo now getting brought down. And that's got to be a card. That's got to be a jail sentence in my opinion. You're bringing down the superstar. And here's Karo about to bury this free kick. Hiya! Not enough power on that one. Just a few minutes left in this match. Yang Min-hyuk had a great pass, but Karo has his head in his ass. But fortunately for us, the match has come to an end, and we have collected a 1-0 victory against Aston Villa. And with that victory, we remain in first place with a total of 61 points and a record of 19 wins, 4 draws, and only 1 loss, which Karo was not a part of, by the way. We remain 4 points in front of Man City, and now we turn our attention to Newcastle United as we face them in match week 25 of the Premier League. Newcastle away. What can I say? It's always a difficult match for Arsenal. And here's Isak getting us kicked off, and Joelinton finding Larson. Larson back to Joelinton, and now Kvetchi on the ball. James just teasing Nuno. And now turning and passing it to Larson, who passes it back to James. And James once again down the touchline he goes, crossing it in, and Gordon is there with the shot but unable to score. And Isak falling down easily. Get up. Joelinton on the ball with pace, laying it off for Raum. And now, Yang Min-hyuk getting absolutely walked by Konate, heading it to Partey. Karo now finding Saka. And Bukayo Saka passing it to Karo. And now Arsenal are cooking. And now Karo cutting in and sending Ollie Watkins through. And Ollie Watkins just hammering the ball into the top right bins. And Arsenal have a 1-0 advantage early in this match. And Watkins is going to go run over to Mikel Arteta and give him one big hug. And this Arsenal team looking primed to win the Premier League. And Joelinton finding Tonali. Yang Min-hyuk with a great tackle. A Premier League tackle right there. Proper Barclays. James turning, passing it to Kvetchi. And Karo with a great tackle. And Karo now opting to go towards goal. By the flank, cutting in, having a shot. And Ramiro with a great save. And Karo just spitting Haktua. Larson passing it to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva, the cross, are now dealing with it. And Isak trying to shoot the rebound but unable to get it past Ederson. Gordon cutting back, passing to Joelinton. Karo on the ball. After that interception, passing it to Watkins. Watkins turning with the ball, threading it through, and Bukayo Saka cutting in, getting brought down inside the box. And it will be a penalty. And you already know who's going to line up for this penalty. 100% Stonewall penalty. Denis Karo lining up. And Karo now easily putting it into the top right bins. And that will see Arsenal collect a 2-0 victory over Newcastle. And with that victory, Arsenal collect another 3 points. And with that 3 points, Arsenal remain at the top of the Premier League table with a total of 64 points to Man City's 57 points. Our record remains 20 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss. Man City slipping, Arsenal on the rise. And recapping the Europa League, Arsenal remain at the top of the table, which puts us in a nice spot waiting to see who we get drawn against in the round of 16 while the others do the playoffs. And as we take a look at what we can expect in the next episode, that will be some very intense Premier League matches, as well as finding out who we face off in the round of 16 in the Europa League. And that is where we'll end today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. This has been Dennis from Climbing Wall Gaming. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.